But is Adam going to be here?
I don't know. That's the thing. We are live in the pre-show. There may be a return. We don't know yet.
He's done bombing Gotham City, ladies
He's
and
done
gentlemen.
bombing Gotham City. He's back. He's off assignment. Longest assignment ever. He was the one who was figuring out where the hell Donnie Cates went.
Yeah.
And he did it. But no, we'll
Donnie
talk
Cates
about
doesn't
that.
even know where he went.
It's kind of a real, yeah, right. Yeah,
it's bad. I shouldn't laugh, but
I'm not posting that. I'm not showing off those pictures. They're too bad. But Image Comics,
they're not terrible. I mean,
they
we've
were,
seen worse
dude.
things in
I
comics.
don't like that gory ass shit, man.
That's
it
not
gives
gory.
Me nightmares. It's gory. It gives me nightmares. It's real.
It's real, but it's
right. The part about it being real is the part that makes it, so bad. But yeah, Image Comics in the news for distribution. Ooh. A couple of quick hits from Marvel, and then you'll talk Secret Invasion because you're the only one who hasn't yet. Double dose of food news.
Ooh.
And then a weird week in comics. I had a surprise #1. It just blew me out of the air. Blew me away. I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed reading this my surprise #1 this week. So anything else we should talk about?
I did go see the Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
I have notes.
I wonder if I have the. Let me see if I can.
I'm not burning any Ninja Turtle figures, but I have notes.
What is it? Mutant Mayhem?
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah. Let me see if I can grab a picture for that so we are available. Oh, there's Taylor. He made it. Taylor made it.
Sorry to disappoint.
I'm looking for that image. I'll just use this one. The hell with it. This one's fine. It's big. Oh, it's not going to load up until. Oh, of course, that's kind of a freaking image. Come on. Let me see if I can find a better one. This is great. Everybody gets to see the. Oh, this is the pre-show. This damn it.
This is pre-show. We're still behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're still technically not doing anything yet.
We're not live yet.
We're close. Let's see if
we're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. Fuck it. We're doing it live.
Doing it live. Good. That's a good one. That's the one I'll save. It's still trying to save it as a weird image. I'm not sure why.
Oh, and there's some stuff from Gen Con.
Oh, well, you can mention that, but I ain't getting pictures for it.
That's fine.
I can't even find it.
There's not a whole lot of pictures for it anyways.
Let me see if
there are some really cool sets coming out next year.
Yeah.
In the Universes Beyond. And another one that I want to mention real quick. But yeah, there's some news coming out of Gen Con.
You can mention that shit if you want. Lame. Here, this one's good. Maybe. Jesus. I hate how they moved my downloads thing to another thing. It's so dumb. Oh, see, that's got the IO9 logo on it. So anything else you guys want to talk about? Nothing?
Well, Taylor's got here, so...
I know, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's got something.
Oh, I can't really think of anything, though.
Here's one. Here, this is just the regular old poster. Why does it want to open them all in stupid file formats? I hate that. The freaking internet, man. Let's see if I can just open the image. Well, we'll do it live.
Oh,
yeah, it's a good day. And you got something else now too.
There's bad timing that came out of Super 7, the action figure company.
Yeah,
like they put up a post.
Need to add all that. How much shit you need to add?
Yeah, we don't need to add it. It's just really bad timing considering what happened today.
Oh, Andy said he's got crazy kids running around. Oops.
Well, there's crazy people running around here too. So
what
we'll just make a big old crazy stew.
Nice.
Oh, I did finally get my hands on Do a Power Bomb this week. I guess I'll mention that.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I mean, that's really all I'll say about it, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot of
light
fun.
news week, man. So yeah, it's the light news week. That's cool. All right, let's do the damn thing, I guess, since that's what we're here to do. Let me delete this, and then you guys ready? I don't care. It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. Oh, Jeff chiming in. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for hanging out, dude. It's true. episode of This Geek and Comics Outright Geekery's Comic Book Shit Talk Show.
Shit Talk Show!
Homer Taylor, a.k.a. David. We thought that possibly
we'd have the return
Adam
of
was going to be back, but
Adam
Andy's
normal.
busy. Segment 1, what did we do this week? I watched the Rhapsody, or Subspace Rhapsody episode of Strange New Worlds. It was fantastic. It was a musical episode. Really, that's all you need to know. Uhura makes something into a spacey thing, and the thing makes them sing. I mean, people had a really bad problem with this on the internet, some people, and it's like, have you never seen the dumb shit that happens on... They turn people into lizards one time. And one dude was like, well, that's stupid. They shouldn't have done that. I'm like, but people love that shit. I mean...
that's that episode of Voyager.
Yeah. I mean...
No, there's more episodes.
Remember they had Abraham Lincoln show up on the original series. Y'all remember that shit? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they had Abraham Lincoln show up. There's been more than one time people have been turned into lizards on Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It was fantastic. I had a really good time with it. So, yeah, I didn't do much else. Just, living it up.
Living
what
it
about
up.
Y'all? What'd y'all do?
I went and saw Mutant Mayhem, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem this weekend.
Yeah, let me see
Oh, so did I. I guess I should have mentioned that. Sorry.
Oh, cool. You guys can talk about that. Let me see if I can even get this picture.
It is a very big departure from the source material, I think. It's not... I liked it. But
man, fuck the source material. The
I know.
Source
I think there's been like a lot of source material.
At this point, there have been so many versions of it. I don't even know which source material you're talking about at this point.
Exactly.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without Shredder and the Foot Clan.
Good. It was refreshing to have a damn movie without having Shredder just right out the salvo. They can build up to him, and they did a really good job.
I don't think they're building up to Shredder. I think they're building up to Krang.
David, you idiot! Did you not see the post-credit scene? They showed Shredder.
Oh, was there?
Yes, and he looked
awesome.
Was a
post-credit scene?
Yes. Why did you not think there was a post-credit scene?
Because it's not a Marvel movie.
Dude, everyone does post-credit scenes now. Everyone. At the very least, it's worth checking to see if they have one.
You gave up too soon.
You fool.
He's like, I really had to pee.
Go and watch it because they talk about... so they show the evil scientist lady. I forget her name, but she had captured Superfly, and they're like, oh, well, we can't get to the turtles now. They're integrated into normal population. And then, but we know someone who can. And then they show the back of Shredder, and just the little bit of like back shoulder helmet and like arm we saw of him looked rad as hell. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So
yeah, I like mixing it up a little bit.
For this movie, I'm glad they didn't just immediately jump into Foot Clan. I'm glad they didn't immediately just go into Shredder. We've seen Shredder in every version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as the first boss. It's kind of cool to go in and have him be the second one here,
Yeah, that's cool. But Dave, I mean, you still liked it.
I like
your only beef with it that it didn't have Shredder.
It wasn't a beef. It was. Just,
you were just surprised.
I was just surprised that it started off with Baxter Stockman being the
bad guy.
Not the bad guy. The reason why the turtles get created in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Stockman's only here and in the exposition part. Yeah.
Yeah, and
he creates the ooze, and that creates a bunch of mutants.
He was voiced by Moff Gideon.
Oh, that's fun.
Was that one, Carlo?
Yeah,
okay,
that was him.
I didn't know that. Okay, well, that is cool. Yeah, and then, of course, we had Ice Cube as Superfly. We had John Cena as Rocksteady. And Seth Rogen, who made the movie, gave himself a pretty good part in Bebop.
Nice.
But
Paul Rudd was Mondo Gecko.
Indeed. And Jackie Chan as Splinter was really good. They worked in a good fight scene with Splinter that felt very Jackie Chan because he was like using a chair as a weapon. It felt very like improvised. It felt like the type of fight scene you'd see with Jackie Chan.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
So, but I think my favorite part of the movie though is that they felt like teenage brothers. Like they really gave these guys a better chemistry, especially better than the Michael Bay movies, but really better than any of the live action Turtles I've ever seen.
That's cool.
Or any of the Turtles movies, I should say, I've ever seen.
Right. The live action ones are great too, man. I love that shit.
They're campy, but fun.
I love it so much.
The first two are decent. The third one is
the Samurai one. It's like it's all
Turtles in Time.
It has its moments. Awesome. Anything else? What else? Nothing. You wanted to mention something?
We just talked about the movie, you asshole. We've done plenty. No, move on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, Gen Con.
Oh, did you want to mention Gen Con?
Yeah.
In passing.
Yeah, just in passing, Magic the Gathering is going to have a Fallout Universes Beyond set in March next year, and I am like, oh boy,
Fun.
I love Fallout.
Yeah, that is fun. Cool. All right, well, let's do news. Let's do the regular old news. There's not much. Nothing has happened. Although, as we have talked about, on this show and other places, Donnie Cates, he's just sort of fell off of the face of the earth, and no one knew why. He was keeping it personal, and now we know why he was keeping it personal. This dude was like in a coma for like 6 months after getting in a car accident. He was writing so many things. He changed Venom. They turned Venom into a damn good book. But he was writing Hulk, and he was writing Thor, and he was probably going to do the Ultimate Invasion series that Jonathan Hickman is now writing. But he stopped doing everything.
Yeah,
Even Vanish, Ryan Stegman has been writing that uncredited, just from the guideline, the syllabus or whatever that Donnie left him. But yeah, he was in an automobile accident. I guess he like almost shattered like his ocular bone or whatever, his eye bone. But the pictures were horrible. I am not posting those pictures, but he did address the gossip, and told everybody what was going on through an interview. He's back on the mend. He said the best part about it is he's had an opportunity to like go back and read his own books without like remembering them. Like that's how fucked up.
Oh wow.
he's like,
Yeah.
it's like, man, this Cosmic Ghost Rider sucks.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like,
okay.
damn, Frank Castle, what?
I do hope he liked his
Right?
writing without
I mean, how
context. but-
shitty would that be? Like, who is this hack? Going back and he did address, that he
Man,
was
this-
sorry to all his fans and friends, and the YouTube trolls and whoever else.
Well, I mean, of
if it
all
seemed like he
things,
had
like
just
being in a coma is definitely a good excuse for not being able to write comic
Yeah,
books.
I mean, he said he had to relearn how to tie his shoes and feed himself and stuff.
Well, I
You know
am
what
glad
I
to hear
mean?
that he's on
So,
the mend.
Yeah, for sure. He will be back writing again. I mean, there's just no way he's not going to. So, yeah, I hope he gets back into writing comics, dude. That's sort of like a one day at a time sort of thing when you have like a life changing sort of experience like that. So, yeah, we wish him all the luck. And just to be clear, we never like talked any shit like, oh, where'd he go? We were just legit curious.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a piece of news,
I figured it had to be something pretty concerning because it was so abrupt and so hush hush.
Impactful. And it was impactful.
Yeah, I mean, he was
affected a
writing
lot
2
of
of
top
the
10 books.
He was writing flagship titles. Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
His indie stuff was, really
Yeah,
going.
Vanish
places.
was always in the top 10, dude.
Crossover.
crossover for Image was like a huge thing they had going.
Oh
Hulk
my
and
gosh, I
Thor
love
are 2
that
of the
book
biggest
so
Marvel
much.
books.
Yeah, man, I cried. That's the last book I cried at. It wasn't because of Donny Cates, but I did. All right, anyway, over to more news. Image Comics and Simon Schuster have now signed an exclusive deal for North American distribution. Eric Stevenson, who's the publisher over at Image, said for the past 20 years, we've been able to establish a foothold for our trade paperbacks and graphic novels in the book market, thanks in no small part to the support and efforts of Diamond Book Distributors. But now I guess F you, Diamond, because over time our needs and backlist of titles have grown and our increasing footprint in the marketplace has us excited to take this next step with Simon & Schuster. So there you go. Image is still going to use Diamond in the UK. We're still not sure if Diamond is actually going to continue to distribute through Simon & Schuster any Image products. We do know that they are going to do so through Lunar for their weekly books for the the floppies, but with the trade game, I mean, they're gonna have to do something. That's a huge deal, dude, to lose distribution rights for now the third biggest publisher in comics in the course of 2 years. You've lost it all now. You have nothing except in the UK. It sucks. It's weird.
Well, I mean, this is one of those. There's no heroes in this story,
But you got to think the Diamond
I mean,
brought a lot
I
of
definitely-
themselves.
I definitely veer
Right.
more towards Image, but yeah, I definitely don't have any pity for Diamond. They've been a scourge of comic readers and comic shops for many a year now.
Yeah. So we'll see how this works out in the.
Bad.
I don't know. It starts in January, so we'll see how that works. If there's any impact at the comic shop level, any shipping or anything like that, we'll definitely
Well, I mean, you can always expect some
ear down for
hiccups
that.
while they're like getting the
Oh, well, I don't expect any hiccups.
the
Simon and
onboarding.
Schuster
Well,
is
maybe,
is like $1 billion distributor. They should have their shit together.
You would think so, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, there's not some onboarding issues.
Yep. So we'll keep our ears down or eyes open or whatever for that. Now, just a couple of quick hits. They're doing Daredevil Black Armor #1. It's a revisit to the '90s era Daredevil. These books
I barely remember Daredevil looking like this.
never appeal to me. We had one this week with Magneto. These books just don't appeal to me.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really reading comics in the 90s because I was, 5, but
Right.
But
and they weren't writing comics for 5-year-olds like they were in the 80s.
I just don't think this is like an iconic look to harken back to,
Yeah, me neither. Like, who's asking
the
for
yellow
this?
costume I could see, but this, I feel like people, maybe I'm just ignorant here, but I feel like people barely remember this one.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of the, older readers, I mean, I'm included in that,
Sure.
but I never gravitated toward this version of Daredevil either. In the 90s, I kind of went out of the scene of comics in the 90s for a little while.
Well, I mean, you're not alone. I mean, 90s
Yeah.
comics have gotten a reputation for being a pretty low point in terms of quality, and, there was all those near collapses from a lot of the big companies and everything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so not really a fan of this one, but I don't know. It might be good. We'll definitely check it out. But another 90s thing that I actually am excited about, that's why I kind of had a theme here. Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos. In the early 90s, Steve Rogers was transformed into a werewolf for a while. That's it. He's coming back. Stephanie Phillips and Carlos Magno are doing a 4-issue mini. It comes out October 11th.
Pairing Capwolf with the Howling Commandos seems like something that, I'm surprised they haven't already done that.
Right?
Low-hanging fruit, right?
It definitely seems like low-hanging fruit, yeah.
Even if it's like a different sort of universe or whatever, but I don't think this is. I think this is actually kind of in continuity. Jeff, he's like, I don't remember the black uniform on Daredevil either.
I actually may have that issue somewhere in a box.
Which one?
The black armor?
The black armor, the black suit.
Oh, wow. So
I don't mind the black suit. I mean, I thought it looked good during that, what was it, Shadowland, where he was wearing the black suit for a while?
Yeah, that was fun.
I just don't remember the armor so much,
Yeah. So this is going to be a take on wartime storytelling with modern mystical twists. So there you go. There's all of our news.
I mean, if you're doing a werewolf, you should definitely be getting to like occult shit. That could be fun. Maybe they're fighting like Nazi wizard scientists.
I would love that shit.
From the look of the artwork, you can kind of tell that is a Luftwaffe emblem on that plane or the wreckage.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It does look like it's maybe set back during World War II. I would love that.
So this would be on theme with like the Nazi occultism and stuff, like you would
find
like you see the actual
I was about to mention Hellboy.
Occultism.
Yeah. So this is
into like Indiana Jones shit,
the Thule Society and all that fun stuff.
This is happening in World War II, early World War II.
Does it give us a creative team for this Capwolf?
Yes, it's Stephanie Phillips and Carlos Magno.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're fine. A lot of variants for this, but it's a 4-issue mini out in October.
They can have some pulpy fun with this. Somebody check it out.
I'm excited for a good wartime book, even if it does have that mystical angle. I hope they kind of take that a little bit more serious than, have fun with it. I mean, I want them to have fun with it, but I don't want them to like be poking fun at it.
The energy I'm hoping for is like pulp stories,
Yeah.
Like old like Rocketeer, like
right.
Stuff where like they're doing a throwback, but like with love,
Yes. Yeah. Cool. All right, Dave, you're up. You took the hit for the team. Didn't watch any of Secret Invasion until you could watch it all at the same time. Taylor and I enjoyed it, if I remember correctly, but I think we were a little bit torn on just how much.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't necessarily rank it very high in like all the Disney Plus shows.
I was very bored.
I'm going to have to agree with Taylor. As far as the Disney Plus shows go, this is not the best offering we have had.
Yeah.
But since I didn't get to see it in like a week-to-week format, and I was able to marathon the entire thing in like 3 to 4 hours,
nice.
It worked out a whole lot better. I mean,
than like what we were saying.
Yeah,
like having to slog through it every week.
Yeah, I mean, there were some low points, but like had this been like, I don't think that this alone by itself would have worked well as like a Nick Fury standalone movie.
Even if it was on Disney Plus, like a Disney Plus special movie event. Nick Fury.
I-
I think it should have been longer, not shorter.
Right? Yeah, that's another point we disagreed on. I would have made it shorter, cut out a bunch of that shit, and then saw a lot of that boring shit, and then just keep your main set pieces, and then just go connect them by the action sequences, and I think it would have worked so well.
Because it gives us the idea that because it's Nick Fury used the scrolls to basically position himself in Shield. That kind of seems like something that Nick Fury would do.
For sure. Yeah, everything about the story made sense. Jeff in the chat also wanted Secret Invasion to be longer. He enjoyed it, but he wanted more.
Well, since he agrees with me, I think he's right.
Yeah, I agree with
but
you.
I did really like the character of Sonya. I thought that she was like, I want to see more of her. And I kind of want to see what happened. This thing at the end that happened where like they found all these people in these other pods that weren't in the nuclear.
Yeah, I didn't really understand.
I didn't understand that. That was like
after
after Sonya and Gaia had teamed up. And I think Gaia is now like the most OP character.
Oh, Gaia is stupid OP. They're probably gonna have to come up with some sort of limiter that she has to deal with. Like maybe she can only do it for so long, or maybe like
use one or two at a time.
Or maybe like if she uses it too much, she'll just tear her insides apart or something like that.
Yeah. Jeff also wanted more backstory to the characters and events.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. I think they could have used a couple more episodes just to kind of flesh out a few more characters, give us a little bit more like intrigue here and there.
Well, especially like the relationship between Nick and Vera.
I think that was my favorite part of the show overall. There wasn't a lot, but it was very efficient, I guess I'll say, because I love the dialogue. I thought that they acted the hell out of it, the two actors in the scenes. Of course, one of them was Samuel L. Jackson, so that goes without saying. But
right.
I really did. I enjoyed their interactions together, but I just felt that the bright spot in this whole show was Sonya.
Nice.
Oh, absolutely. Cool. She was a delight. It was kind of a little disappointing, in fact, to see her just kind of listening to just doing whatever Fury wanted. But then again, at the very, very end, she it seemed like it maybe was a means to an ends for her, because she came out like, okay, well, I'm going to use the Skrull super soldier to do what I want to now,
Yeah.
And she wasn't making any bones about that. And I was kind of taken a little bit aback by the president's speech, because
I think we were supposed to.
Oh yeah, he was a huge dick, and
he was a big D-bag.
That's supposed to be a crushing disappointment.
Because that has implications for Asgardians.
It does.
Oh, it has. They're building up to an actual getting back on the superhuman registration thing.
Yeah, the fact that he lashed out, that he chose to act in fear, that definitely was supposed to be this huge crushing disappointment of a moment, where
because that went completely 180 what Talos had hoped for. Because when he was talking to Guy and he's like, we do this, we have a big bargaining chip, and Talos died saving the president, and it turns around and the president's like, we know how to find you and we will hunt you down. And I'm just
that's great.
Holy shit.
That made for a great heartbreaking moment in this series on.
Yeah. So hopefully there are implications for the future shows. I don't even know what our next is. What do we got? The Marvels coming.
The Marvels is coming out in November. Loki, I think, is coming out a little bit before that.
Oh, Loki! That
we did just get our trailer for that. They showed
a trailer for that last week.
Keon Kwan, I think. They showed him as OB as his character, and he looks like to be a lot of fun already.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, dude. So I'm stoked for that. All right,
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Cool. All right, let's do food news real quick. Get this out of the way.
Yummy.
No moment of destruction this week. But we have 2 doses of food news for you. The first one is IHOP is turning 65, and you can get $5 all-you-can-eat pancakes through August 27th. Man,
that's not too bad.
I am not a fan of IHOP's pancakes. I know
IHOP's
I should be because
not bad.
It's like fast food. It is, isn't it?
I think it's a step up from fast food. It's kind of to me, it's on that same tier as a TGI Fridays or an Applebee's or something like that, where it's fine, but it's not great, Yeah. But I mean, I don't have any real bones when it comes to IHOP, because I think I've only ever eaten there a few times in my life. There's just never been one near enough to my house to go to, but Yeah, I'd go in there for $5 all you can eat. Doesn't sound bad.
I mean, I got to be really hungry or really stoned.
I bear
Dude,
no
all you
malice
can eat
towards IHOP.
pancakes. All you can eat pancakes. I'm so hungry. I'll have like 3 and be like, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. Dave,
Uh,
are you going to go to IHOP and see how many pancakes you can eat?
Generally when I go to IHOP, I don't have pancakes.
Ooh. What do you have, waffles? You son
Omelets.
of a bitch.
I have an omelet. I have like the hollandaise omelet.
Nice. Ooh. That's so fancy, Dave. Second bit of news. This is a leak on Reddit. Wendy's new loaded nacho sandwiches have leaked to Reddit. So they're gonna release 2 new loaded nacho sandwiches. It sounds nasty. All right, it's loaded nacho.
So it's like
chicken
Frito
sandwich.
chips on those or something.
Yeah, so it's respective protein, either chicken or a burger, right? Spicy chipotle, tomato, lettuce, American cheese, poblano queso,
Ooh,
spicy
poblano.
corn, and tortilla chips. So it's like got Fritos and shit on there. It's also got a jalapeno cheddar bun. That bun sounds awesome.
I
But
mean,
everything else, I don't want
this
chips.
is a whole lot. This is a whole lot better than like Arby's Diablo sandwich.
yeah, I mean, Wendy's is, I think,
I don't
one of the
even remember
better
that
fast
one.
food places. Like, if we were doing like a tier list of fast food, Wendy's would be towards the top for mine.
Yeah,
have
Wendy's
to
is
agree.
definitely
Wendy's-
top tier.
Wendy's is a lot better than some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I feel like I would
definitely top tier.
enjoy eating this in the moment, but I would regret the hell out of eating it a few hours later.
Yes, that is yet another problem. That is very valid.
It
At
does
what
seem like
point?
there's a lot going on with this. These
Yes.
sandwich
At what
burgers.
point is it too much? Right.
At
what
least the
point
bun's
is it
not
too much?
black.
I
At
know.
least that.
This is gonna be messy. Yup. Get a fork and definitely some Tums. Jeff in the chat. Definitely some Tums.
Yeah, you need to counteract the effects
Right.
of this thing pretty soon
Right.
after you eat it, I'm pretty sure. But when I'm sitting down and eating it, I think I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, but later you'd be paying for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I got my images are just all over the place today. Let's do top 3. It was a very, very, very weird top 3 this week. Such a surprise. All the images uploaded yet because I don't know what everybody's picks are going to be. So I wanted to call out 4 books really quick. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's a theme. There was a book called Quest #1 from Jonathan Luna Crystal Wood. Okay, there was a book called Sacrificers from Rick Remender and Dave McCaig. There was a book called Fire and Ice. I don't know if you're seeing a theme here, by Bill Willingham and Leonardo Manco. And then there was a Conan the Barbarian new series from Jim
Sword
Zub.
and sorcery, motherfuckers.
Dude, all these fantasy genre, all these books from the fantasy genre, but they were all unique in their own sort of way, dude. And it was really fun and refreshing to see such good fantasy all in 1 week and all debut issues. You know, it was really cool.
Kind of funny how that turned out like that.
Yeah.
I picked up 3 of those 4 books.
Nice. So yeah, we might talk about those again. City Boy #3 was good. We got to learn a little bit more about City Boy's powers in this.
Yeah, he is fun.
Was solid.
I
too.
said when we were doing the preview show on Monday that it was kind of shit or get off the pot for this book.
Yeah.
I think that they shat enough.
Yeah,
which is a weird way to describe it, but
they have really shown us, you know, and his trauma. I like how they're leading it sort of with his trauma. You know? I also like how Superman showed up and did not save the day, really. You know?
Well, he definitely helped. And one thing I thought was like the best part about this issue was like Superman is uniquely qualified to give him that pep talk.
Yes.
More than anyone else in the world, he would understand. Like, I think it did. I think that it didn't like fix everything in one instance, but I think it nudged him towards the right direction because he did calm down. He got the dragon under control. And he's not just going to fucking wallow like he has been in these first 2 issues. Yeah. He's going to go get some damn answers finally. No. But yeah, Superman understands, you know, voices coming from everywhere, pulling you in every direction, hearing the worst of people at all times. But I guess the thing that Superman has a perspective on is that you can also hear the best in people.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm assuming that's probably where this book is going, is that like he learns to get his
get his mojo, get his swerve on.
Yeah, get into like a right mindset where you can also see like the good within a city and not just the bad.
Astonishing Iceman, we might actually talk about that later, but
not for me.
it was a weird way to bring him back. Basically love, and an
It was fine.
weird inhuman power.
The
brought
main
Iceman
reason
back.
I
It was
picked
weird.
this up was I was curious how they were bringing him back.
Yeah,
and they answered the question.
It was cool, man. I mean,
It was a plausible reason. It was a plausible way to do it. It was fine.
It had some great panel work, some great shit going on.
Although, man, he better be careful going out there smooching all the fellas, because his boyfriend is the only reason he is alive right now. And I wonder if, like, he's like, oh, you're making out with that guy you rescued.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think you should have a corporeal form anymore, you know?
Yeah. But my number 3 is Superman. If I can find the damn thing. I know I have Superman in here. Where did it go? There it is. Superman.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I thought you meant like the...
Oh my gosh. Adventures of John.
I thought you meant the Night Terrors book for a moment. I'm like, what?
No. Tom Taylor, Clayton Henry. This was just fantastic into this series.
Yeah.
The way they got out of it was a little bit like, okay, that works. But
they at least made it a Chekhov's gun instead of a Deus Ex Machina. Like Cyborg said at the beginning of the issue, hey, I could totally figure out a way to warp him back to his own universe. Right. And then at the end, it's like warping you back, you know?
Yeah.
So at least it didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, really great stuff with John taking everybody out in like an instant, and then Jay calling out this Superman. But I mean, it was just genius the way he comes up, just like he's gonna kick his ass, gives him a big hug, just like me and my kids though, just gets slapped. I don't hug me. But anyway,
it turns out alternate evil Superman is almost as bad a dad as you are.
Almost. But when he gets sent away, I mean, it leaves the Injustice universe wide open for Tom Taylor to come back to. It so does.
I don't know how I feel about that. On the one hand, you know, they've been doing some good stuff with this for the last few years. Tom Taylor kind of made his name writing this book, after all.
Yeah.
But it did feel like a bit of a cop-out that, like, they basically just said at the end of the book that nothing really changed in the Injustice universe.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it did though.
It did. It could. They planted a seed that they could come back to later, and I'm assuming Tom Taylor, of all people, is probably going to be the one to do the follow up to that. So maybe it is. Maybe there is something to it. You know.
Of course. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think honestly, he is planning to do more of these, and this was all part of his plan. You know, right from the beginning.
Yeah, watching John go all. Commando on the whole Justice League, like, taking them out one at a time. Like, like I don't think I could actually beat Wonder Woman, at least not without, leaving enough in the tank to fight Superman. So I'm just going to straight her on Titan real quick,
I think it was really good. He just tosses her into space, He has a talk with the Flash and says, hey, dude, can you just, not do anything?
Yeah.
Green Lantern or Yellow Lantern, so easy. Just you pop his bling and he's done,
Yeah, someone as fast as Flash or Superman, really a Green Lantern is no threat to them.
Yeah. Great issue, great series. It ends the series. John is now back in Earth 1 or Earth 0, I guess it is. And
and then they're hyping up these Beast Days that are coming in the next few.
I'm happy about that.
Months.
All right, Taylor. Honorable mentions and number 3.
I also enjoyed the Adventures of Superman. That was fun. I also enjoyed City Boy. I'll do an honorable mention for Steelworks.
Oh, it was solid.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
This continues to kind of overperform. Like, I was kind of expecting this to kind of be like a pretty mediocre title. And it's not knocking my socks off, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. Michael Dorn kind of came back to a character that he once voice acted. I thought that was a bit gimmicky, but he's doing good work. He's doing good characterization for John. He does good interactions with him and Superman here. He's villain
got the whole family in here.
Yeah, he's got the whole family in here, and the villain is such a shit-eating bastard. He has such a punchable face, and so that's good villain writing, I'll say.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really enjoying that book as well. It's fun.
But my number 3 this week is Justice Society of America, number 5.
Nice. I did catch up on this a little bit. This is leading into some wild places, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, seeing like the whole like multi-generational fight against like the infinite time warping Degaton at the end of this book, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really took advantage of a lot of trippy mechanics. It did a lot of good character work with a lot of disparate characters here. And it didn't feel like they copped out. It didn't feel like they had to do a Deus Ex Machina to win,
Right.
So it was pretty well handled.
And it's leading into more stuff. I mean, they're hinting at Dawn of DC, this becoming like a standard thing, which is just wild to me. I didn't think this Jeff Johns book, which feels kind of like its own separate corner of the DC universe, would ever move over to like their main thing right now. So
that's cool. At the beginning of all this, that Jeff Johns is a great curator of comic book history, and a lot of that is on great display here. It's cool seeing the old Golden Age Justice Society headquarters here. It's cool seeing like the characters from the Next Generation and all that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of moving parts here. And Jeff Johns, I think, has really kept up with. I didn't catch up on it fully. I just sort of browsed, the last few issues. But yeah, he's keeping up with things very well. And yeah, this was a really fun issue, dude. This was fun.
Yeah,
cool. Big D, Dave. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with Project Reese.
Yeah, this was kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of. It had like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it definitely had a very Indiana Jones vibe to it. Kind of like I'm not exactly sure when the time frame for it is. I think it's post World War II.
Yeah, it's in the 50s. It is post World War II. It's in the 50s where they're going.
But we still have Nazis running around in a castle.
Well, they're just at the castle. I think though they're just kind of protecting their
fucking
gold.
Nazis.
Those damn.
But
they're
but these guys are basically like treasure hunters going after Nazi gold in a castle. And
those look like the ghosts from like Scooby-Doo from that one episode.
They do.
Which I guess is just a diving suit, but still, that's the first thing I thought of.
But they get past the big vault door and. Well, they make a deal with the Nazis. They make
a deal with the Nazis, and then they stab them in the back, which I love.
Well, the Nazis were going to stab them in the back.
Yeah, they knew that, so they were.
Fuck the Nazis.
I knew that you knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew that we knew that you were going to betray us.
Exactly. Solid book. I'm ready for the next issue.
But we've got something going on, a Frankenstein type monster or something.
Yeah, we're not really sure what.
Not yet.
What it is, but
drags off the dead Nazis.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of monster hanging out in this dungeon of this castle. Where there's a buried or Nazi treasure.
Nazi gold!
Nazi gold!
And my other honorable mention is Parker Girls #9.
Oh, I did not grab a screenshot for that.
Oh, it is kind of a getting back to the pace of things. They've discovered Francine was told by the police that there was somebody who was watching them that was killed in the house next door to him.
Oh, wow.
And the officer was like,
I'm a little behind on that series.
The officer was kind of explaining the situation. Well, we found him. Somebody come over to do the check-in on him, found him dead. Have you had any interaction with him? Because apparently there was a high-powered camera pointed at your house.
Oh.
She's like, oh, I know. I never interacted with them, but that's very odd.
Nice.
She kind of knows what's happening there. It's really good. And my number 3 book this week is actually Sacrificers #1.
Nice.
Yeah,
this was wild, dude. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
They are.
But it's wild.
The backstory is that they are everybody living on the world has to make a sacrifice of one child every so many years to appease the god who runs the sun.
Yeah,
there's
a lot more depth.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of emotion.
The sun god's daughter is like a rebellious kind of princess. We've got the bird guy in the foreground here.
The son of this family of bird people. Wants to be a sacrificer. He feels like he's got like a really big heart, but he's like misunderstood. I don't know, dude.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
I want to see where this is going on, but this is
beautifully drawn.
It was well drawn.
Yeah.
Lovely. And
Beautiful
the character designs were really just a little chef kiss.
Yeah, that's Rick Remender and Dave McCaig with Max Fiamura doing the art. Yeah, very, very well done. I had a good time with like I said, all those fantasy books this week. There were a lot of them. So good call out. So that's to me number 2. Let me find the damn thing. Shouldn't it be right there? Oh, I got so many damn books this week. Star Trek Defiant, #6. I mean, I cannot stop just raving about how damn good the Star Trek books have been. And there's really not much to this. There's a lot of great character interactions, just like in the previous ones, where Balan is talking to Tom Paris, Worf is talking to Cisco. Laren is getting in with like a bunch of the noobs that have been introduced in this series and the main Star Trek series, but just with a great tone and you understand everything. But really, it was like you got to see some really cool places in this as they continue to try to go to Kalis's, headquarters. That's it. That's the Spire of Kalis, which has been mentioned over and over again in Star Trek lore. This is Three Turn Bridge, which makes so much damn more sense now. In the history of Star Trek, Kalis.
That's the emblem of the Klingon
exactly.
Empire.
That's the emblem of the Empire, and the reason for that is the Three-Turn Bridge is where Kalis, stopped the armies of Modoc or whatever, Moloch, whatever the hell his name was, and unified all of the different houses on Kronos, which led to the Empire, forming the Empire, 1500 or whatever years, before the events of today. So that is a great little call out there. I just love that shit. Again, there's Martok, General Martok, who's actually
he's the leader.
Yeah, he's the leader now.
Post Deep Space Nine, he's the leader of the Klingon Empire. He's a chancellor. That's what he is.
Yeah, chancellor. That's right. So anyway, just some great stuff with the art here, with data and lore. Going through and kicking some Klingon ass. And they have, just a great conversation. And really, that's most of what this book is. Just a lot of fun character dialogue, them leaning into this old shit. There's an episode of Deep Space Nine where Worf saves Jadzia Dax instead of completing the mission. And him and Cisco talk about this, in this just vibrant and knowing detail where they don't have to give the audience anything more than the little bit they give them. And they're just going to run with it. And we do. And it was so well done.
That concluded with Cisco saying that you probably won't get a captain.
Exactly. They mentioned that in this. Yeah. Which is
I remember that episode.
One of the reasons why Worf went to go be the Klingon ambassador after the war. There was nowhere else for him to go in Starfleet.
Yeah.
So, just a lot of history, a lot of just fun. It's a Trek comic book fans, a Trek fans Trek comic book. You know what I mean? It's written just for the fans, and thank you so much. I am just adoring it so much. So yeah, that was my number 2, Taylor.
My number 2 is Fantastic Four. What number were we on? Number 10.
10? Yep. I talk about a Star Trek.
Oh yeah, this could have been
played out like an episode of Star Trek.
This easily could have been, yeah. We get started like in medias res from like the perspective of these aliens who are stuck on this ship. There's like a good they do a good job like hiding what's going on from us, like they give us clues where like once we figure out what's really going on, we can go back and be like, oh, that makes so much sense now.
That's pure Star Trek, storytelling. It really, really is.
Yeah, like,
there's a mystery that needs to be figured out,
Yeah, and they do such a good job like building up like the story. By the time we get to the Fantastic Four, and it kind of just goes like a humdrum adventure for them, This is the kind of stuff they do before breakfast, but like getting the other perspective and like the psychological horror of these people who are trapped in the spaceship and do not know what's going on. It was really well done.
Yeah,
this was such a trip.
Yeah, it really was. I knew exactly where it was going from.
Well, you figured, yeah.
I mean, you figured, but it was still reading Ryan North's approach to it, Yeah. And it was subtle. And then all of a sudden, hey, now there's like one of these aliens that one comes out of their hibernation chamber once every, whatever.
Once every 100 years from their relative time, yeah.
Yes, from their relative time, which is much, much slower, I guess.
Yeah, this all took like half an hour for the Fantastic Four, but it was centuries for the people on the inside.
Yes, yeah. And then finally, one day, like one comes out of the hatch thing and is like wise enough to like, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a great way to conclude it, where like that guy was like, he sat down and he thought about it and, kept his wits about him, thought, if they wanted to kill us, they have had plenty of opportunity to do it.
Yes, dude.
And so he takes this huge gamble and it pays off. It was a really cool way to resolve it.
Yeah. And the whole reason we get to this point is Ryan North bringing it back to the genesis of this entire series where he, shifts the Baxter building through time and a year. But
Mark
only
Waid
the
understood
people-
this as well when he was writing
Yes.
the series. Like
Yeah.
that's how he started. That was his first issue, right? It was like there's like a PR firm. They're like, we need to build up their superhero brand. The guy's like, they're not superheroes.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think Ryan North understands this as well. We're like the Fantastic Four are explorers. They have kooky adventures. They have family dynamics, and occasionally they get into fights, but that's not their shtick. That's not like their. That's not like their core tenet, you know?
Yeah. The God stuff, the Jonathan Hickman stuff that was in the back of this and other, it was lame. It was just a tease.
It's whatever. It's like what they did a few years ago when like they were doing the Resurrection of Wolverine, where like there'd be like a little like 2-page like nothing burger at the end.
Yeah.
It was whatever. It's harmless, whatever.
Yeah. Agreed.
Although I think it is interesting that apparently when Sue turns invisible, she has her skeleton briefly be the only part of her that's visible. According to
it's kind of like Dr. Manhattan learning to.
Yeah, apparently she goes invisible in
together.
layers, but I guess normally it happens so fast that you can't tell. But here, like 1 second for Sue was like 10 years for the people looking at
Yeah,
it.
so they would just see this woman over the course of like a tree growing, just slowly disappear. Yeah, freaking wild shit, dude. I loved it. It was a great issue. Good call out. Dave, number 2.
My number 2 is Grimm number 12.
I do have the cover for Grimm. I'm still so far behind on this. This is Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano, and it's basically Grim Reaper's adventures.
Yes.
The adventures of the Grim Reapers.
the adventures of one Grim Reaper in particular.
Yes. Yeah.
But this issue is basically where she is getting out of purgatory, essentially.
Nice.
Apparently she's the daughter of the Grim Reaper, the one that started it all.
Right.
And she's in the previous issue, she's the person who put her in purgatory has come to her because another individual has made a deal to get a soul out of hell, and it's the worst possible person that you could think of. So they've gone to her because she's the only person capable of stopping this.
Nice.
And they give her father's scythe, and her father's scythe gets her out of purgatory, but they send her to some other location where she fights little shadow demons and a shadow nun is the best way I can
shadow
describe.
nun.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the journey started. The journey out of hell has begun.
Nice. Yeah, this is a little book that I really enjoyed the first issue, but I just kind of fell off of it, and Dave just can't get enough. So, man, I'm really happy that you're enjoying that. I need to catch up, dude. I really do. All right, that leads us to our number 1, starting with me. Man, what a huge surprise. I talked so much shit on this book, I think, on Monday. Star Wars Dark Droids by Charles Soule and Luke Ross. All right, so there's some weird thing that was discovered in an earlier series that apparently can like take over droids. It's like a sentient thing that can take over droids, and it finds its way onto a Star Destroyer through like this droid here. Proceeds to like infect all of the droids on this Star Destroyer, and they just start killing everybody on the Star Destroyer, all humans.
This is Skynet in Star Wars, essentially.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Maximum Overdrive. Y'all remember that movie?
I do.
Maximum Overdrive, where all the cars and shit come along. Dude, I love it.
Is that that Stephen King one, or am I thinking of something else?
That movie's even more poignant now because it does have like the Skynet and that sort of, smart cars and shit like that. But oddly, this book also introduces, and I had to look it up to make sure it wasn't a thing. It's called The Colony of the Second Revelation, and it's explained as being like a place where droids can go if they've attained enlightenment, which appears to be like sentience, right? Which is just weird to me. So, all right, so this thing that was on the Star Destroyer sends one of these little mouse droids, out into a ship, and of course, they're heading for the rebellion, where there are more droids that they can, fuck with, including C-3PO. This is surprisingly well done, but Jesus, the only bad thing is all the damn tie-ins for this shit. there's absolutely no way I am reading all of these books, but I will continue to read the main series. And I had to look it up. This D Squad book is basically R2D2 getting like a whole posse of droids together to go kick some ass. And that looks awesome. That looks so cool, man.
That would imply that there are droids that can't be taken over.
Possibly. I think the only way you can be taken over is if you come into physical contact with this thing.
Well, that little device basically hacked that droid that it first encountered, and then it hacked everything else.
So maybe as long as you're not connected somehow, I don't know. They still haven't really played all that out.
Because that mouse droid, the mouse droid in the book, there was a mouse droid that was actually resisting it.
Yeah, and that was the one they were talking about from that colony. What this colony has done, Taylor, because I'm thinking that David has obviously read this, but what this colony has done is they have sent out like spies, like undercover agents who are trying to identify and help other droids who have attained enlightenment by posing as, in this case, a mouse droid and shit like that. So,
yeah,
I don't know how that's going to bring in.
But this is not what we thought it would be, like a droid that's sensitive to the Force.
Yes, I don't know why we thought there were going to be Force-sensitive droids. But Jeff in the chat, he said Dark Droids was sweet. I loved it. Yeah, it was a big, huge surprise. That's why I put it at number 1 this week. Yeah, just had way too much fun with that shit. And that Luke Ross art, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Taylor.
My number 1 was...
Could it be anything else?
X-Men number 25.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so this is picking up with the aftermath of the Hellfire Gala. And it's, picking up the pieces. It's Orcus continuing to, propaganda, getting like the president on board, setting up sentinels in all these places, torturing Cyclops. But the main thing that makes this my number 1 was seeing Shadowcat really fucking wreck a whole squad of these Orcus guys. Dude. Like, Kitty Pryde is one of those characters where, like, but Kitty Pryde is one of those characters where, like, you'd say that, like, if she wanted to, she could be really fucking dangerous.
If you've ever read What If Wolverine, agent of whatever, one of the agents, there's a What If where Kitty Pryde literally sacrifices herself to take him down. That was the first real glimpse I got in a comic book where, wow, if this bitch really went all out, she could take down the fucking world. Well, she could take down everybody.
Well, when it was the Age of Apocalypse, she was a badass in the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I love this. She was a guy back into another guy.
Yeah, she was a badass in Age of Apocalypse, but we never got a display of it like we did in this issue.
Yeah.
Like she's throwing a guy into another guy. She's like putting grenades into people's fucking chests.
And then exploding them.
I
haven't seen anything that terrible since fucking Century, dude. Are you kidding me? That is some brutal hardcore shit.
She's like pulling people's suits into their brains and things like that.
Yeah.
And then of course just like dropping people.
She feels bad about it. Yeah,
she
does.
Feels
terrible.
This is a big moment for the character. To my knowledge, she has never killed anyone before.
Yeah.
And here she just massacred a squad of these Orcus assholes, including that one guy who was like, and this is a cool shout out to something earlier from his run where he talks about, this one agent had been saved by the X-Men. I remember that scene, and they mentioned it here, that they had gone into they'd gone into space and pulled him out of the vacuum. And he was like, wait, you guys saved me. It's like, well, you shouldn't have fucking killed the people who saved you then.
You shouldn't have done it again.
Yeah. You had your damn chance.
She's very well justified with what she does here, but I can understand.
It's a great justification. Like, in the fight, she is such a stone cold, like, assassin. But then, like, after the fight, her moment of despair, because this is a huge sacrifice for her. This is a huge moment for the character where she has been driven to do such brutal things. Yeah, something that would have been unthinkable for the character at one point. And if that is not handled well, if you take a character who has historically been a relatively peaceful character, and then like they just go on a killing spree like this, that can come off as really hokey. It can come off as really badly done. But it's executed really well here. She gives them a chance to walk away. They laugh in her face. And you're like, well, you fucking blew it. And like, she just came away from the Hellfire Gala where there was this huge massacre of her people.
Yeah.
And
And even
Yeah,
even
I buy
before
it.
that, Duggan, even in the first few pages, he leans into this struggle she's having spiritually, leading
Yes.
into her talking with her spiritual advisor and things like that. That was also really, really well done in the context of everything else that happened after that. I will say it was an exercise, 25th issue. It had a bunch of other shit. Like it had commercials for the Miss Marvel book, basically. It had a
Well,
commercial for the Children of the Vault book.
I think
Um,
they use the extra space to do good stuff, though. Like, this is an issue to read where you get the status quo. You get like
right.
here's what the Avengers Unity Squad is going to be doing. Here's
Yes.
what
Yes.
Kamala is going to be doing.
Yeah.
It.
And as the flagship book, rightfully so, this book
Yeah,
should be giving you all of that new status quo after the Hellfire Gala, after the last Mutant Massacre. It
yeah.
should be telling you, no, this is where everything else is going to be going on in the House of X. Read it, don't read it, we don't give a shit. But it's nice that they let us know. But I don't know. I didn't need the extra dollar or two, just to know that. I'm going to read those damn books anyway, But
That's fair, but
Excuse
but
me.
I
yeah, I
I
get
think
it.
they make good use of the extra pages.
Yeah. I love this, man. This leans into so many horrible things that we've seen throughout,
Oh, and we
each
do it with a
history.
lot of dramatic irony, where like Kitty
Yes.
is going to go kill Firestar, and after watching what she did in this issue, I totally buy that she can. You
Yeah.
know, but we know, and no one else does, that Firestar is actually trying to help them.
Yeah. Firestar's on the good side.
She got
She's a
planted as
spy.
a mole. She
Yeah.
never did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like it was Jean Grey's like Hail Mary.
Yeah. Which was, yeah, again, very well done. X-Men 25 is literally the follow-up to the Hellfire Gala that will lean you into everything else that is Fall of X. It is a must-read if you intend to read any of the mutant stuff now that, Krakoa is gone. This leaned into Araki. It leaned into Shadowcat's, which she's going by now, ability to use the gate. They mentioned Lockheed, which I loved. Yeah, where the fuck's Lockheed? They can't find Lockheed. I love all the shit that went down in that book, dude. Great choice. Yeah, one of the best of the week for sure. For sure. Dave, number one. I have no idea what it could possibly be.
Conan the Barbarian #1.
Oh man, I was so sure you were gonna go with Peacemaker and the cocaine addicted villain.
Oh, that was great, but
That was great.
I
Awesome. Yes,
really,
Conan was awesome. Jim Zub, and two artists on that. I think it was Jose Villarriba and Jose Villaruba and Roberto de la Torre. Great old school art in this too, man. It was
yeah.
everything that you want from
I
a Conan
mean,
comic.
it's Jim Zub doing what Jim Zub does best.
You know, fantasy. Really,
Yeah,
that's it. Really, I mean, that's
yeah. Fantasy. Conan is part of a mercenary company, quits, and then all of a sudden somebody shows up saying, "Hey, there's a marauding band of zombie things coming." It's
yeah,
just it's hack and slash. The rest of the
yeah.
book.
It's just action packed. It's these weird, cool one liners that Conan's always putting out. Just Zub just gets the character. He's got a full handle on the character. I mean, I'm sure he's been reading Conan since he was a child. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's a labor of love for him.
it is.
And
And it's a little bit of a departure from like what was Conan at Marvel. I mean, this is
sure,
probably
sure,
more truer to form Conan or
right.
than I remember than recent memory. But I just
Yeah, for sure.
it's just I'm a big fan of Jim Zub's work, and this is like maybe his best stuff right now.
Yeah. I'm just really happy for him. I've been following him since Skull Kickers, which was a book that was just so awesome. And nobody, thought he was going to do anything with that. And he worked that into writing just about every fantasy property you can think
Yeah,
of, dude.
D&D.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's written
a lot of the
D&D.
D&D books.
Yeah, he's written Red Sonja.
Didn't he
He's
do some
writing
Pathfinder?
Conan. Yeah, I think he did a Pathfinder book too. I
Because
don't
he
know.
also did that. He also did that book Wayward, but
Yeah,
that's not sword and sorcery fantasy.
yeah, but still, he's just a really good writer. I'm really happy that he's finally, getting a book that I'm sure is like the dream book for him. And yeah, he pulled it off really, really well. So yeah, man, great show, guys. We really appreciate everybody hanging out. If you like what we did tonight, come back tomorrow night. We're going to do another show where we talk about the previews, all of the new comics coming out this week. If you like what we're doing, check out what the Bullies are doing. Leroy and Eli do a show on these channels every Sunday night. I think they're still going to have a show tonight, despite the fact that Eli appears to be in New York City, but I'm not sure. Anyway, if you want links to
New
everything
York
they got going,
City.
New York City, get a rope. If you like
Giving a
everything,
city slicker on us here.
yeah. If you want links to everything, the merch, the vids, the socials, outrightgeekery.com, we'd really appreciate you going over there and hanging out with us and kicking it on all the stuff, including the group that Andy's running. Andy couldn't be with us tonight. He might stop by tomorrow, but who knows? Again, thanks for hanging out, everybody. But most of all, thanks to these jokers for hanging out.
Always fun.
We are going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.